What is going on, everyone? My name is Jason, and this is the Galaxy S22 and S22 Plus. So here's the thing, ever since Samsung launched the Ultra lineup, these over-the-top spec'd out phones that are essentially the best of everything, it kinda made their regular flagships a bit underwhelming. And I think this is particularly the case with Samsung's new Galaxy S22 and S22 Plus. They've really been in the shadow of the much hyped S22 Ultra. Now, I recently posted my review of that phone. You guys can check it out here in case you guys missed it. But I've now used the S22 and the S22 Plus for about a week now, and honestly, in my opinion, I think a case could be made that these phones could be a better pick over the Ultra in many ways. But it still could be difficult to figure out which one of these phones to go with. So in order to help you out, I'm gonna go over the key similarities and differences between the S22 and the S22 Plus to help you figure out which phone is better for you. Now, before we get into the review, in case you're new here, I'm Jason. I would really appreciate it if you take a quick second to press that thumbs up button. It really does help out solo creators like myself get a little bit more traction on their videos, so please help a brother out. And in case you're a tech junkie like me, I make a video like this every single week, so don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with all the reviews. And real quick, before I jump into it, let me know in the comments which phone you would go with. The S22, the S22 Plus, or the creme de la creme S22 Ultra. Curious to get your thoughts, let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments down below. Okay, the first thing that we're going to look at in regards to the S22 and the S22 Plus is their physical design, and let's start off with their similarities. Though both are pretty iterative in terms of upgrades from last year's models, there are some subtle differences that do make these phones stand out. First, the S22 and S22 Plus now have Gorilla Glass Victus Plus on the front and back. This is a particularly noteworthy upgrade for the S22 as Samsung used plastic last year. And even though I didn't really have any beef with it, it is nice that we're getting a better build material here. I think the most noticeable change from last year's form factor is the design of the frame. Both the S22 and S22 Plus now have a flatter frame that kind of mirrors the industrial look of the new iPhones. It's still slightly rounded off though, so not as aggressive. And I actually like this because it's more comfortable to hold in the hand while still making the phone look more refined. Both are also equipped with Samsung's new Armor aluminum build material, and both are also IP68 dust and water resistant. They also have the unique camera housing that was introduced last year. One difference though is that it doesn't wrap around as an extension of the frame anymore, it's actually a separate piece. Not the biggest deal because aesthetically it still has that signature look that it debuted last year. Both the S22 and S22 Plus have back panels that have a matte finish. It's a bit flatter and more muted than the satin finish that it had in the past, and either can be had in any of Samsung's new colors. Phantom White looks super clean with this pearlescent glow, but I do give the edge to this green. It has a way stealthier look, especially with the color match frame. And I think the only key difference between the S22 and the S22 Plus in this category is their physical dimensions. The Plus is obviously bigger, giving you more phone to work with and a larger display. And this is really going to come down to preference in terms of which is going to be better for you. Personally, I do usually go for bigger phones, mainly because I use them as my primary tool for consuming content. But I think an important thing to note is that the size of the regular S22 is not something I'd categorize as small by any means. It's way more comfortable and you still get enough screen to make the user experience quite enjoyable. And let's actually talk about the displays a little bit more because they're pretty fantastic. They're both equipped with Samsung's dynamic AMOLED panels and both at their respective Full HD Plus resolutions. And even though they're only 1080p displays, these are quality panels that can compete with any other flagship in the market today. Content comes off razor sharp, you get bright punchy colors, really good contrast, all making for a fantastic user experience, especially when you're watching HDR content. Now again, the obvious difference here is going to be the size. The S22 Plus has a 6.6-inch display while the regular S22 clocks in at around 6.1. Both are extremely immersive with impressive screen to body ratios as they really only have these center hole punch cutouts and that's about it. The bezel is minuscule and completely symmetrical, which is nice. And they both have flat displays too, which I personally like. It doesn't give that infinity look that some prefer, but in return, they're not distorted or prone to accidental touches, and it still looks really clean. Now, another similarity that both the S22 and the S22 Plus share is the high refresh rate on these displays. Both can reach up to 120Hz to give you that smooth UI navigation experience, and can clock all the way down to 48Hz to preserve battery life. When it comes to the differences between the displays, outside of their physical design, it's going to be pretty minor. One, with the S22 being smaller, it will have a slightly higher pixel density, which does make it sharper. Will your eyes actually be able to tell? Probably not. And the other difference is going to be brightness level. The S22 has a peak brightness of 1300 nits, while the S22 Plus can reach a searing 1750. Again, will you notice? Maybe in extreme conditions when you're outside in direct sunlight on a sunny day, but nothing noticeable in most environments. All in all, they're both outstanding when it comes to displays, probably best in class within their respective categories. Now when it comes to the S22 and S22 Plus's performance, it's kind of a mixed bag between similarities and differences. To start, both are rocking Qualcomm's newest and most powerful chipset, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, so it's no surprise that everything runs fast and smooth on both devices. They're both equipped with 8GB of RAM and start off with 128GB of internal storage, maxing out at 256. Now the 8GB of RAM is actually a downgrade from last year's S21 lineup, but nothing that's impacting the user experience so far in my opinion. Apps open up quickly, gaming is buttery smooth, and you still have access to most of Samsung's spec-intensive camera features without any issues. They're both also equipped with Samsung's class-leading ultrasonic in-display fingerprint reader. Setup is easy, and I really gotta give it up to Samsung. It's gotten noticeably faster, and it's not as finicky as when they first debuted this technology. Where you start to see some differences between the S22 and the S22 Plus in terms of performance is going to be with battery life. The S22 Plus being bigger is equipped with a larger 4500 mAh battery, while the S22's is only 3700. It's enough of a difference where I'll say if you're a power user that uses your phone to watch a ton of YouTube videos, or if you're a content creator making shorts on your phone, the S22 Plus may be the way to go. It's not to say that the battery life on the S22 is bad, it's totally fine for everyday mundane use. And as long as you start off on a full charge, it's rare that you're going to need to re-up in the middle of the day. But considering how much we've grown dependent on our phones these days, battery life is a big deal and something that you should definitely factor into your decision making. There are some other minor differences here as well that make the S22 Plus a little bit more feature-packed. For example, the S22 Plus can access Wi-Fi 6E for faster Wi-Fi speeds while the regular S22 cannot. And the S22 does not have ultra-wideband capability, so it can't leverage the full tracking features of something like a Galaxy Smart Tag. Now are they big omissions? Not really, and what's nice is that the most important area of performance that people are actually going to care about, the camera performance, it's virtually identical between the S22 and the S22 Plus. They have the exact same hardware, a total of 4 cameras each. They both have the upgraded main sensor that clocks in at 50 megapixels, supported with the 12 megapixel ultrawide and a 10 megapixel 3x telephoto zoom, as well as a 12 megapixel selfie camera. And overall, the picture quality coming out of these cameras is pretty fantastic. You get a ton of details as the images come out razor sharp, the colors are more natural than before and not as overly saturated as Samsung used to do. Selfies also come off more natural and not as artificial, and you get pretty consistent quality across all 4 cameras. Both the S22 and S22 Plus can take advantage of Samsung's 30x space zoom. I'm not really sure about its utility when it comes to day-to-day use, but it's gotten noticeably better with its post-processing to give you an image that's actually usable, which is pretty impressive. Now Samsung claims that their new phones are the best when it comes to portrait shots. They have gotten better for sure, but they do sometimes still miss with the subject separation. When it comes to video, again, both offer the same level of capability. You get the crazy 8K 24 frames per second video that is okay when you're shooting something that's kind of close up. Not the best for wide angle shots though, and it'll definitely rip through your internal storage, so beware. You also get 4K recording at 30 and 60 frames per second on both, and the video quality is pretty okay. Not much of a difference from previous iterations of the S lineup, and it's not going to give the iPhone a run for its money anytime soon. Overall, the camera performance on both the S22 and S22 Plus is pretty strong, and great that there's no differences that would make going with one better than the other. So at the end of the day, it may not be the easiest decision on which phone to go with, mainly because they are both so great, and honestly, there's not many concessions between the two. But I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about one more difference that could be the most important, and that's the price. The Galaxy S22 Plus has a starting price of $999, commensurate to a lot of other flagships out there, but the regular S22 comes in at a very reasonable $799, and this last differentiator puts the regular S22 as the phone to go with, in my opinion. It's just way better value as you're getting 98% of what the Plus offers, and the 2% that you don't get to me isn't that big of a deal. Now yes, if you're into bigger phones and need a bigger battery, the S22 Plus makes sense and it's the phone that you should probably go with. But if those are the requirements for you, it's gonna be really hard not to just kick in the additional $200 and just splurge on the S22 Ultra. It'll give you a bigger screen, bigger battery, and a ton of other features. That puts the S22 Plus in a bit of an awkward spot in terms of the lineup, and I could see it being the least popular. And that's kind of a shame because it is a rock solid device. It's just not as well positioned as the regular S22 or the Ultra. But hey, that's just me, and I want to know what you guys think. Which one would you guys go with? The value-packed S22 or the quote-unquote bigger is better S22 Plus? Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments down below. Okay, that's about it for this review. Don't forget to leave me a thumbs up if you guys found it useful. Again, I'd really appreciate it. Check out these other reviews if you're looking for more, and I'll see you guys in the next one.